Hello and welcome back to the Nihil channel, and back to Shining in the Darkness. A couple of things happened on our way out. As you can see, our party is a little bit worse for wear, but the thing that we noticed that's kind of a big deal is that Pyra got poisoned and stayed poisoned after she died. So that's kind of a big deal. But I'm gonna take us in here and pay to get us healed up. Hero, Milo, and Pyra, heaven help us. You really scraped the bottom of the barrel for this party, didn't you? Is that not how I... Oh, right, the bell, yeah. I had forgotten.
Please just let us stay. We were in the labyrinth for 2 weeks.
Okay, so if this doesn't unpoison her, we're gonna have to figure out how to do that without using items, if that's a possibility.
The other option is the priest. I'm sure
they're still dead.
You probably have to revive him at the church first.
Okay, yeah, you might be right. Let's do that then. Do they respawn with full health? I sense the soul of Milo somewhere above us. If you wish, I can bring Milo back to life. Oh my gosh, it's expensive.
It's also, like, legitimate death. Like, you know, in the previous games, or I should say in the sequels, it's more hinted. It's a lot more explicit here.
Yeah? Okay, yeah, so that's really expensive, so we need to not let people die. Okay. Alright, that's kind of a big thing. I'm kind of taking that in. Alright, do they at least come back with full health? Yes.
Okay.
Okay, so that's good.
And the poison's gone.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it is. Thank goodness. But that's really punishing in the labyrinth there. We took our clothes off to die faster.
We took our clothes off because we were unbearably hot after spending 2 weeks lost in the labyrinth.
Yes. I forgot to equip his helmet back. We also didn't have our helmet equipped that whole time because they took the tiara from us. So I think while we're... You know what? No, let's go to the castle first, see what they have for us. And then we'll buy armor for our people. Okay, so you wanted us to come back. It's good to see that you're not alone anymore. Okay. I see that you've formed a party. Well, to face the trials, you must pass through the bronze door in the labyrinth. Here, take the dwarf's key to unlock the door. I hear you, comment section. I hear the exasperated sigh. Hero, I wish you every success in the trials. Okay, anybody else have something to say? To pass this trial, you need only defeat whatever crosses your path. Sounds easy, doesn't it? But remember, this is only the beginning. Okay. Well, that helps. Let's go pick up armor for our people then. I assume they can wear any armor, but I guess we'll find out. Yeah, we'll start with just basic armor, I guess. So they both have cotton robes. We'll get, I don't really want to get too woven. Let me see if I have something to sell to get one of them and the nicer one. Kind of how I like to do things. What if I just sell the key? No, if I sell your depoison, how much is that? 11? No, that's not enough.
The robes are probably worth...
Oh, right.
I'm trying to think. Something like 60 gold, I want to say.
Alright, let's sell Milo's. We'll get him better first.
Yeah, there we go.
You are on it.
Years and years of practicing math facts. You know, my kids keep telling me, I don't need to learn multiplication and division. I'm like, just wait. One day you're going to co-host an episode about Shining in the Darkness and you're going to wish you knew all of this.
Definitely what I was thinking.
Exactly. It's what everybody thinks when they do that math in grade school.
For sure. Yeah, this is definitely where I saw myself. Oops. I wanted to equip people, but I pushed the wrong button. Let's do that before I forget. Because I will There we go. So that takes him from 12 to 28 defense.
Fantastic.
He had a little more than 12 before, though, because he did have something. Alright, so we're thinking we need to go... Do you think it's... Oh, wait, you know what? How much gold do we have? I should go buy a... What's it called? An angel feather?
Yes. Yes, let's learn our lesson, please.
Yeah. We'll go do that. Yeah, that 4 gold, that's gonna help us. Alright, let's do that so we don't get stuck again. Weapons, tavern, armor. Who had that? Alchemist, that's right.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it's not even that much.
Ironically, if you didn't have that 4 gold, you wouldn't have had enough.
Yep.
Everything happens for a reason.
Yep. What if I just tell you I want that? Is that all you have? Come back when you've saved some gold. Okay. That is insanely expensive. I wonder what that does.
It's probably a quest item that you have to get.
Probably. Alright, so we'll check this door first.
Yes.
Check the easy stuff first. Hey.
Alright.
Okay, so what does that do for us? Oh, hello! Okay.
I would say slow or sleep. Let's try one of those.
Yeah, let's... Sweet.
Alright. Oh my god, much easier.
Oh, well, it's already awake. I mean, if it hits one of our guys, it's just gonna kill him. Oh,
especially
that's
Milo.
no good. Yeah, at least we're close to the exit, but yeah. Oh, he gets multiple attacks.
Great.
You love to see it. Blaze... Okay, sweet. I was like, Blaze, hopefully.
And
there
a critical
we
hit.
go. Excellent. Yeah, okay, everybody level up a bunch. They both should level off of that.
Yes.
Hey, Detox. And Freeze. Okay, we're making progress. I'm assuming we're not gonna get another crab immediately. What on earth are these? Yeah, I'm just gonna have her blaze stuff. I wonder if we get AoEs.
I would think so, at some point.
I hope they don't do too much. Yeah, I'm probably gonna grind some off-screen, just so that we're not struggling quite so hard.
I think you should give yourself more credit. You're doing pretty well. I mean, we can heal up after this battle and Pyro will be fine, and they're only doing 3 to 4 damage.
That's true.
Not that you can't grind, by all means, you know, grind away, but we're honestly not doing all that bad.
Yeah, you're probably right. We also have a lot more MP now.
Yes.
Which is very helpful. There we go. Excellent. Alright, that's new. Scavengers. Hey! The crits do a lot in those. Alright, I'm gonna assume that's a dead end. I haven't seen any false walls yet, but I'm keeping in mind that there might be a thing. Let's look the other way real quick. Oh, that's a whole thing. Okay, well, let's go peek that way then.
You're right. There is definitely some smart AI there. Neither of the characters attack the same slug as Pyra did.
Yeah.
That's really nice.
Yeah.
Makes things a lot easier.
I definitely appreciate that that's not like random or something. At least it doesn't feel that way. There's some level of priority to it.
It would appear that the AI for the party attacking in this game is smarter than the AI for enemies attacking in Shining Force 1.
Yeah, it would appear that way. Okay.
I kid, of course, but I mean, it is true.
The Cave of Strength.
This is our trial.
Okay. This is interesting. I need to think more how I'm attacking too. Because Pyra goes first sometimes. So I should have Hero hit the big things. Oh, hello. That's different. Okay, so now the enemies have magic.
I wonder if they have elemental weaknesses. I wonder if using Freeze or Blaze does extra damage to the right enemy.
Probably.
Probably.
I was about to say we should level a lot, because these are giving us a ton of EXP. I guess we go straight first. Oh, okay, well that worked out. That's not what search is. I am crazy. I can't
Old
look
habits
up.
die hard.
Yes, very much. Alright, search. Oh, hello. What are you? A chest beak? Okay. Oh my gosh!
Sleep? Slow?
What? He sleeps me?
Sleep counterattack.
Oh my gosh. Oh my goodness. No! No!
This is worse than the giant bats.
Yeah, this is not going good. I have no idea what I was supposed to do about this.
What you're supposed to do is not open the chest. You should have known there'd be a monster in there.
Oh my gosh, apparently. Alright, so he reses all of us to full, which is nice. And that costs half our gold. So if we don't have a lot of gold, that actually might be the... Oops, I don't want to drop something. That might be the smarter thing to do.
Yeah, in this case, it probably would have cost you more to revive them. Huh.
Wild. Alright, well... that was quite unexpected. Well, I guess we just go back in. I mean, I don't know what else to do.
Absolutely. We got to take on the trial.
Yep.
You can't prove all of those. You've got to prove all those ministers wrong. They all said you couldn't hack it. You got to prove that you can.
Oh, I've got to... Am I gonna have to hang on to this for the entire thing?
At least until the trials are complete.
I guess. I'm glad you knew, by the way, that was like Zelda stuff, because I have never been a Zelda person, really.
Really?
So, nope.
Why not?
I don't know. Something about, like... I think it's because maybe there's not levels. Like, as dumb as that might sound, I think that it would take, like, leveling up and, like, a little bit more of a sense of progression for me to get into it.
It's so interesting to hear you say that, because that actually is one of the more, I say contentious. It's not really contentious, but it's contentious for video game discourse, but clearly it's the most important thing in the world. People who argue that Zelda is an RPG, because you kind of level up. I mean, you don't get EXP, but every time you finish a boss, you get a new heart. Every time that you get new weapons, you get more powerful. Like, some people would say that it's an RPG. I mean, by that same logic, a game like Metroid is an RPG. But,
I mean, I think it's fine to say it's an RPG. I think that makes sense based on a lot of the metrics. But it depends on how you define that. But
right.
Yeah, if you listen, I don't know if you listened to the episode Daniel and I made of our podcast Turn by Turn, where I argued, like, almost anything. You could argue almost anything is an RPG.
Yes, absolutely. That makes sense. I mean, again, by that logic, Metroid is an RPG, which I don't think anybody would genuinely argue, but by the criteria that most people set, it makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah. I know Daniel has, like, oh, what are those? Dark Hermits. That looks like a Zelda thing, too.
It does. It looks like a Poe.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Not by the name, but yes.
Right. I do think the Breath of the Wild may be more up your alley.
I did play Breath of the Wild.
Okay.
And I liked bits of it, but there's also bits I really don't like. Point being, the weapon system I found infuriating.
Mm-hmm.
Because I felt like, I worked really hard to get like a weapon at the end of a quest line, and then it just breaks immediately, and I'm like, well, glad I did that quest line. Like, I feel very rewarded for that. So it got really annoying.
It does. I mean, we're not saying anything new on that one. Like,
No.
Weapon degradation is, whether it's this game, whether it's Fire Emblem, you either love it or you hate it, and there's really not a lot of in between.
Fire Emblem? Do I do it?
Is it the same one?
No.
Then yes, we do it. I don't think they're all going to be traps, are they?
Ah!
Okay, they are. Well, that's good to know. All right. So
okay.
Try Blaze or Freeze this time. I wonder if there's like a lot of damage we can do if we have some spells, because like he's not able to do anything. He did 1 damage last time.
All right, I'm gonna have him Milo heal himself up a little bit.
Yep.
Yeah, we'll freeze. Which also looks very similar. Okay, so he doesn't take much from freeze.
No.
Goodness. So we'll have Milo be able to take a hit.
Yes.
We'll try. I don't think he has anything else.
Mm-mm.
Okay, but
About
Blaze.
Blaze.
Yeah, Blaze, I think, does more. Nope.
Oh.
Goodness. Yeah, Milo's just not strong enough to damage him, I guess. I guess I can have him heal himself, because he can at least take hits.
Yeah. Does slow reduce defense like it did in the first game? Because if it does, that might still be worth doing.
You are being extremely helpful this entire episode. Wow, okay, she gets one-shotted.
Maybe helpful. It's only helpful if it works.
Yeah. But I mean, other than that, what? She's doing 4 damage, like, whatever.
Right.
Goodness. Alright, well that at least kind of worked out in terms of turn order. Well.
Bye, Milo.
Come on, hero. Hey!
Yeah!
85. How much gold was that?
Was it 85 experience?
It's 85 EXP.
Then it was 60 gold.
That's a lot, but we're totally...
It's enough to heal less than one person.
Yeah.
No more chests.
I mean, we're already gonna die. I might as well check this one.
Yeah?
Okay.
Hey, okay.
I think that gives MP.
I think you're right. Which we now need.
Oh, red torches. Left or
The
right?
big torches, left, let's go right. We should go right. I said the big torches feel a whole lot less safe now that the whole thing is wooden panels.
Yeah, I did have that thought. I think that it's the same. I think left and right go to the same way.
Yeah, it looked like it.
Neanderthals and Widow Fang. I read that as Widow Face.
I mean, there's definitely a big face going on there. I don't know what that is. It's not a spider.
I don't know. It looks like some sort of spider thing. Yeah, I'm gonna grind up a little bit off camera, I think, but we'll see what we can see in this episode. That's kind of my plan for this. All right, there we go. I got rid of one of them. They kind of do a lot, huh?
A little bit. Hero can take him.
Yep, we're gonna be okay. Mostly. I don't think we're gonna be okay.
No, sadly not.
Okay. Also, this Valkyrie thing is really interesting, because that is adding stuff to the lore. Okay, we got 123 gold. Because we're just dying over and over, I am just going to get Pyro what armor I can here. So, 123. If I sell hers for 60, that's 183.
Yeah. So can we sell any items? I guess we could sell an herb or maybe an herb or two.
I don't think it's worth it. We'll just do it in one more. Yeah, after this episode, you're gonna come back and everybody's gonna have, like, decent weapons and be leveled a little bit and have decent armor. Just so that we're not stuck doing this for, like, for forever. Because I'm not sure how entertaining it is to watch me die a bunch. Even though, yeah, this is the authentic experience for sure.
I'm sure it's entertaining for some.
Yes, that's true. We should also do an item transfer real quick. We should give the Wisdom Seed to... give it to Milo. And then, should we give anything else? Probably. Let's give his herb to Kyra. That way, she can heal him while he's still dishing out damage, if need be. Is she strong enough to kill them yet? Yes. Okay. It always feels good when you can tell you're making progress.
Yeah, we talked about this last time. That this game does a really good job of that. It is super satisfying every time you level up. You feel the difference.
I feel like Shining Force has always been good about that. Because, like, even in Shining Force 1, you know, even that early, like, when you get one more point of defense... Oh, the... Okay. So I guess there's just a chance for those to spawn? Yeah, I'm not upset about that at all. It just really clearly telegraphs to, like, you doing, you know, taking one less damage from certain enemies. So it really feels, to me, pretty good. As opposed to other games that, you know, I've played some games that it's like, so that did 11, this does 9, okay. That makes sense, because he's, like, water-based. But yeah, there's some games, you know, that you level up and you're like, great, like, that was so negligible that, like, I don't even know what the point of leveling is.
Yeah. Trying to think of good examples of that. Some of the Final Fantasy games kind of feel that way. Not that the levels feel like you shouldn't level up, because clearly those are not games where low level runs are easy, but level to level, you don't feel it as much. I think a lot of it's just the numbers are so big that, you know, oh, I got an extra 15 damage when I was already doing 300. It just doesn't feel like a lot until you've had a lot of levels.
Yeah. I very much agree. I'm glad that those are not AoE attacks yet.
Oh, I'm sure they're coming.
I'm sure they are, but yeah, that's gonna be rough. So I think they have oh, the spell can fail. Okay, that's interesting. I'm glad that that's not just my spells that cannot not work.
That was a lot of experience in gold. That's great.
Yes, it was.
This is actually a really, really good place to level up if you can just keep everybody alive.
Yeah, that is the thing. Because I'm also like, well, I'll get gold really fast. But then, yeah, it's like, if Milo and Pyra die, then I might as well just end my run purposefully and get teleported back, because it just costs so much. Man, I gave Milo that nice axe, and he's not doing great with it. I don't even
swap
feel...
for Hero? Give Hero the axe and give him the sword?
I don't think... I was just about to say, I'm not sure that would be worth it, because Hero is already, other than bosses, one-shotting absolutely everything.
True.
So I would rather Milo, when he does get a hit, like, be able to possibly one-shot things, because he does sometimes. There we go. Attack 3, defense 3. Sweet. Yeah, and maybe I'm... We're gonna keep running into this, huh?
We are.
Alright, so his max is 57, so let's have Milo fix himself up.
Sounds like a good idea. Yep.
Do we want to fix up Pyra? Yeah, why not? Because if this is one of those things...
Yeah, I was going to say it does 40-something damage, so if you don't fix her up, then she will certainly die in one hit.
And
or she may still die in one hit, but it's worth a shot.
Hero's good. He could use a heal too, I guess. I like Milo. He's okay. I changed my mind. Alright, here we go. Okay. I feel like I'm playing Russian roulette every time I open a chest.
You know, you say that, we technically don't know that that's not true. It could be that every chest in this area has a chance of spawning one of those things. Maybe every chest is technically safe, you just have to get lucky.
I don't know.
We haven't been back to any of the other chests, have we?
No. We haven't been... Yeah, we haven't been back to one that we know one was in. Okay, it also is interesting to me that it seems like most things have less than, like, 15 health.
Yeah, until you get to the bosses, and then suddenly it's a whole lot more.
Oh my gosh, when we crit the chest thing and it didn't die, I was like, oh, we're really not doing this, huh? Did she just learn heal?
I think so.
Hey!
Yeah.
Just heal one, but okay. They're throwing spells at us, I feel like, pretty quickly.
Mm-hmm. I wonder how high the levels go in this game.
I think it was just to 4, because I think they had that. I can check. I thought it showed the slots.
No, I meant the character levels. I think you're right. Spell
Oh.
levels come before, but they're throwing them very fast at us. I'm just thinking, I wonder how many levels there are in this game that they can keep throwing them at us like this.
I don't know. I didn't think you meant character level. Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, it says, like, we're level 10, 7, 8. Yeah, I don't know.
Level 99. You can go to level 99. I had to look.
Oh, okay.
So we've got plenty of levels to go. So that is actually very surprising to have given us this many levels or spells in the first 8 levels.
Yeah. There we go, Milo finally getting a good hit. Alright, let's venture in one more time here. And then we might have to call this one. Oh, it's Porky Pig. Cave Goblins. Okay. Well, let's see if we can... Okay, we can fight through them. That's not too bad. How much did they do to Hero? 4. Which means they do a lot more to everybody else.
Yes.
There we go. How much does that get us? 30. A lot.
Nice.
A lot is the answer. Okay, we hadn't gone left yet. Oh my goodness. This is just what this is gonna be, huh? Do I want to...
A little while
Wait,
longer.
what was that?
Oh. Yes. Oh, maybe not.
Huh? Oh. Okay. Well, that's good to know we can do that. I guess I'll have Milo heal himself and then we'll open it.
I was really hoping that you would just realize that it allows you to see what's inside a chest. That'd be a
Yeah.
really good spell.
Yeah, that would have been something. Oops, I hit it too fast. I didn't see what it was.
I think it said smelling salts. Which
Oh, yeah,
probably...
which revives people.
Yes. That's great.
Yeah, it is. That's big.
Can you buy those in the Alchemist? I didn't think to look last time.
I'm not sure. We should look, though. I just don't know if it's, you know, is it gonna cost less than 80, essentially?
Right.
Because if so, then you should just do that every time. Which is kind of a weird thing to... I don't know. The revive thing in this seems a little bit odd.
It's called arbitrage.
What is that?
Oh, an arbitrage it's a stock market term. It's where you buy low, sell high. Like literally, if you discover that you can buy something someplace for 10 and sell it another place for 20 because the person who is buying and people who are selling it aren't talking to each other, then you make money. And yeah, in this particular case, it would just be, you know, the idea of it being cheaper to buy the items instead of going to the priest. I'm guessing it will be because I think the priest is probably going to scale on levels. But the higher the level we get, the more it costs.
That's what I'm thinking. That also touches on something else that, like, I fall down different YouTube rabbit holes. And I don't know if this, like, I'm alone in this, but one that I ended up going down that kind of, like, bothered me was, there's, like, a whole genre of YouTube channel that, like, talks about, like, good video game finds. Like, going into, like, your local pawn shop, you know, and you find, like, a really rare game. And, I get why YouTube thought I would like that. Like, I totally get why it would suggest that to me as, like, a tangent. I can see why the algorithm was like, ooh, yeah, this is good for you. But, I ended up hating it, because it was, like, I couldn't just not see it as, like, it'd be really cool, you know, if a kid came in and found, like, a super rare game they were looking for. Because I totally did that kind of stuff as a kid.
Yeah, it's so hard to do these days.
It is, but it was like not people going to look for games that they wanted. It was like, oh, like they have like 3 copies of this super rare game, and they don't know that it's worth $200, and I found it for 20, so let me buy all of them, and then I'll put them up on eBay for $200. And I'm like, why? Like, let somebody else, you know, come in and like be like, wow, what a great find.
Yeah, we were talking earlier about the Final Fantasy 1 through 6 on the Switch, and the first thing when I pulled it up, because I had not even heard about it, so I went to read an article. I guess they're already sold out, and they're selling copies on eBay for over $100.
Of course. So, of course.
Yeah. In theory, someday I could sell all of my old games. I know I went and looked at them. Some of them are very valuable, but I can't see myself selling those copies. I'd much rather have them to play forever.
Yeah, that was kind of my thought. Like, you know, after we're all living off grid, inevitably.
Right.
I'll still be able to boot up my, you know, my N64 games.
They don't take a lot of power. I'm sure you could generate, you know, riding your bicycle, you can turn a crank and power your Nintendo so you can play it.
Yeah, something like that. I don't know. But, yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of the same way. That to me, there's just I like owning physical stuff. I don't know that I'll ever change. I still buy Blu-rays of movies that I like. I know that's wild.
That is wild.
But
I think I would buy more Blu-rays if I had anywhere to keep them. But you end up buying so many because, at least for me, unlike video games, movies are not as... A, they don't last as long, right? You can't play them for weeks. B, the replay factor isn't quite the same. Even if you can replay it twice, again, it's like, oh, well, I got 6 hours out of this. And so you just have to buy more of them. Like, this is not me saying I hate movies. I love movies, but
same.
You need a lot of them, and you know, it takes a lot of space. Real.
Yeah, I don't disagree. I also buy shows sometimes, which I feel like I get a little more mileage out of because, you know, I'll get so many hours out of, you know, out of whatever. But it's to the point that, like, it's kind of like we were talking about last episode with Advance Wars that, you know, ultimately, it's like, if you don't pay for the things that you like, I'm not a huge, like, hawk on piracy or anything. There's some stuff that, like, I get, you were never gonna pay for that. But if you don't pay for the things that you really like, they're not gonna be around anymore. That's how I feel, so. I've even seen, like, you know, full shows on streaming services, finished it and been like, you know, that show is amazing. They deserve more than, like, my Netflix subscription or whatever. So I go buy, like, you know, season 1 and 2 of the show just to throw money your way to be like, hey, keep making this.
That's a noble sentiment to have, and you're right. If you can do it, it's definitely the right way to go.
I actually didn't look at who got poisoned. Oh, I assume it's Milo because he's yellow. Oh, it's Hero.
Nope.
It's because he's low. That's why he's yellow. Okay. So, I don't know if I missed it. Did it say that I got poisoned?
I didn't see it.
I didn't either.
We are scrolling awfully fast through the battles, though.
Yeah. But, Okay. So, is there just nothing down the... Is that a second red torch hallway?
You know, it's probably time to start using that sight or vision spell to start mapping things out again.
Quite right. Alright, let's do that. Does he have that now? No. Just Pyra has it. Okay. Okay, yeah, so there's...
a dead end.
It's just the dead end.
Yep. I love that neither of us said anything because there's just nothing to say.
What is this, like, early 90s ass mascot?
It's like a Battletoad.
It is a battle. I don't know. He just looks like somebody's like, yeah, Sonic is doing really well. Bubsy leaves something to be desired for most people. Yeah, let's do whatever that is.
Kill wave.
Kill wave. Oh my gosh.
Well, that's not good.
No, it's not. Oh no. Let's do that again, because it worked. Okay.
That's better, okay.
And he does 1 damage?
When he's not using freeze 2. Okay, so we just have to hope for no freeze 2s.
I'm just gonna keep that going.
Answered your question, too. Freeze 2 will be the first AoE spell that we get.
Yeah. I mean, that was... I don't think either of us knew what to say. He was just so happy to kill us.
Blaze just moved to level 2.
Let's try it. So how does this work? Okay. Alright, let me undo that then. Let's have Hero and Milo both attack that, and then have her do Blaze 2.
I like the way you think.
And it's not enough to... Okay. It wasn't enough to kill the first 2, but... Okay, I'm glad to know that hits a whole group.
Yeah. It also takes us back to the very first episode when we were wondering why some enemies were clustered into groups of 2 and groups of 1. It breaks up how these spells work.
That does make sense. I'm also still choosing to believe that it has something to do with how likely they are to flee, and like a morale thing that is unseen. Man. Getting into a lot of battles. But yeah, that's totally just me choosing to believe that, and I think it's probably not real. We are
I've been pretty impressed.
Oh, go ahead.
I've been pretty impressed. Like, this is the numbers, the coding, the way all this comes underneath. Like, it's amazing to me that this came before Shining Force 1, because it feels like a real step up in terms of what they're making the characters and the enemies do.
I agree. I'm definitely impressed with this, especially as like a first project. If you were like, yeah, I want to make RPGs, and it's like, okay, you know, if I didn't know much about that, and then this is what you brought to me as a proof of concept, I would be pretty impressed.
Mm-hmm.
I'd be like, sure, like, if this is what you're doing, like, yeah, why not? You can make a couple more of those for me. He probably got left with like 1 or something. But we are about out of time for today, aren't we?
I think you're right. We'll have to figure out a good stopping point, and then next time we see you, it will be 5 levels and 500 gold richer.
That is true. I think... Okay, we'll do this battle, and then I think that'll be a good stopping point. I will, like, get us out of here. And we'll see how much gold we have to do stuff with.
It'll be a lot.
Because we've got, I could probably sell off some of those depoisons too. That's not very useful when we have detox that readily available. Unless there's something I'm missing. Like, maybe if somebody's dead, you can't use their items, or you can't use
You
their...
probably can't use their spells, yeah.
Maybe
But
not.
you're right. It's different in a tactical RPG. Like, if Lo is not next to the character, they can't use them. But here, everybody's always right next to each other.
Yeah. Big difference. Yeah, we got 924 gold. So, let's... Before we end, what do you think we should spend that on?
Well, that's a really good question. What are we struggling with? Pyra doesn't really need a weapon anymore now that she's got spells. So maybe you buy a weapon from Milo, but otherwise I think you load up on armor.
Can we just get the best weapon? No. No.
Maybe next time.
I could just grind. I'm always tempted. That's how I play games. I'm like, if you're gonna show me something like that, I'm tempted to just grind until I get it. Is that what I want to do off screen?
Well, I would tell you to ask it in a poll, but as I think we've established, by the time you put this out as a poll, we will have already made our decision. So, we can just leave that as a surprise for the viewers for next time.
All right. Yeah, I like that. I'll decide, and that's what we'll do for next time. So, until then, you got anything else, Captain?
Nope, nothing. It's been a blast, and looking forward to next time.
Yeah, I mean, I've had a lot of fun too. I can't wait. Thank you all for tuning in. Let us know in the comments below what you think about Shining in the Darkness so far. Did you race out to buy a copy on Steam for $1 so that you could try it for yourself? Or are you, some of you I saw with Shining Wisdom were much happier to just let me tackle that one for you? Let me know.
You can definitely count me among those.
Yeah, it was something. But let me know how you guys feel about Shining in the Darkness or Shining and the Darkness, and we will see you next time.